What's going on, guys? I have an interesting knife I want to show you. I had not seen this knife before until somebody gave it to me on loan to review it. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. I am being a dad tonight. There's my son sleeping peacefully, right? I can play music, I can hit the microphone and talk to him. This thing's crazy. Anyway, as you can see, this is a Spyderco, and by the title, of course, but it's fairly unique. I don't think it's one that you see that often. So obviously, Spyderco, CPM, S30V, Golden, Colorado, USA, planet Earth. So it is made in the US of A. And a lot of times, the people that design the knives, their symbol or signature is on the blade. So you see that? Michael Jordan, the basketball player, actually designed this. No, this MJ here is Michael Janich. Michael Janich is a self-defense instructor, and he was approached by Spyderco to make a self-defense knife. He created the Yojimbo original, which is a little bit shorter blade and a little bit different, but overall fairly similar. Just smaller, I would say. And he came out with that in 2004. So then he split up with Spyderco. It was discontinued. He went to Blackhawk or somewhere else. Then he came back, and in 2014, he released the Yojimbo2. So this knife is I've seen it between $140 and $150. So that's what it goes for. Let's talk about some of the dimensions. The overall length is 7.5 inches. The blade is 3.125. I know the original was 3 inches. And actually, if you look at his YouTube video, Michael Janich, it's actually really interesting. I think his channel is called Martial Blade Concepts, and I think that's his company. So he talked about making the original knife, and 3 inches was the shortest knife before 9/11, of course, pre 9/11, that you could take onto a plane. That's crazy, right? Now you can't take a toothpick on a plane for good reason, but yeah, kind of crazy. So the cutting edge on this knife is 2.95. The thickness on the blade, it has a hell of a blade on it. Of course, it goes down to this razor tip because that's Spyderco, and it has this hollow grind. Hopefully you guys can get a good look at this. The grind is actually beautiful. I am not used to seeing Spyderco with the hollow grind. It does make a razor edge. There's no doubt about that. It's just very different. And it is, like I said earlier, CPM S30V, which is good. Of course, a satin finish with a Warncliffe style. So you have that slope right here and then a straight edge, straight across. So if you were to set that down, you would have one edge straight across the table, almost like a kitchen knife or a cutting knife. Okay. It is a G10 handle and has phosphor bronze bushings. It's pretty smooth. Of course, this is a right-handed knife. I'm trying to get used to the compression lock. I've never used a compression lock. If this gives you my experience, like I said, guys, I'm humble. I am not a knife professional by any means. I just really like knives, and I'm fairly new with Spyderco. This is the first compression lock I've ever used, so kind of interesting. Getting used to it. It's pretty smooth, not bad. The handle is 4.5 inches, and it does have an embedded steel liner. Hopefully you guys can see that in there. It's embedded all around the edge. So it is reinforced. Okay. I gotta say, after using this, and after reading about it and actually seeing a dissected view of the compression lock, I'm very impressed with it. especially compared to like a liner lock. Totally different. It's a different thing altogether, and this is better. Okay, so that's pretty awesome. The weight on this knife is 4 ounces, which it's a thick knife, so doesn't totally shock me. It's not crazy, but yeah. Some people say that these bushings kind of stick when you first get the knife. Like I said, this is somebody else's knife, so it feels good to me. I don't do the Spidey flick thing. Like, I'm just not that into it. But if you really want to do the Spidey flick, you can do it. I just feel like it kind of puts you in a vulnerable position. If somebody's coming at you and you're trying to Spidey flick a knife out, I mean, I think it's just for fun. Michael Janich actually flipped it upside down. I think he flipped it out with his ring finger. And then when he did that, it was all ready to go as far as being held like this. So like I said, he said this is for self-defense. The way he explained using the Wharncliffe edge is that when it pierces something, of course, it rides up this just like a ramp, and it actually pushes the razor edge down into the material that you're cutting. So I thought, let's just do a very, very simple test, right? So we'll put the knife on the tip of this black dot, and we will just push it through. And sure enough, everything below that black dot was the hole. It didn't go straight through it, above it, or anything like that. Of course, it's a sharp knife. It's a Spyderco, first of all. But with this hollow grind, it's just, man, it's pretty sharp, right? You can shave with it and stuff like that. One thing that people were complaining about in this S30V, I don't know if it's the grind or this batch of steel, or I'm not sure, but they said the blade was chippy. A couple people complained about the blade chipping, and I don't know if it's the thinness behind the edge, because it is very, very thin behind the edge. When he gave this to me, it had a chip right here and a very, very small chip in the blade right here. So I put that on the work sharp and did a little work. I'm sorry, did I just say work sharp? I'm losing my mind. The wicked edge. I put it on the wicked edge. I went up to 1,000 grit, so Eric, I didn't put a mirror polish on there, but I don't know. I'm kind of losing interest in the mirror polish. It's a lot of work, and I think it's actually less sharp than having a little bit of teeth on there. So I think this is sharp enough for anything that people might need. I do want to do some comparisons as well for those of you that had Spydercos, which are a lot of people, right? So I have this on loan by Eric also. Thank you, Eric. This is the Manix 2 and the Blurple. I think it's a sprint run. And we will put the Yojimbo2 right in the middle. Just picked up this beautiful bad boy. It is a left-handed PM2. Boom! For all the southpaws out there, represent, right? Finally, someone came around, made us a left-handed knife. I think Benchmade makes the best ambidextrous knives. If you can tell me a better manufacturer that makes ambidextrous or left-handed knives, tell me. I have a couple Chris Reeves. Now I have left-handed PM2. Let me know. Okay? So anyway, that is the PM2. And then, of course, we have the Tenacious, which is a liner lock. Okay. So, I would say, all in all, I mean, they're pretty similar. I can line up, the end of their handles. And the PM2 is probably reaching out more than anything. But one thing that Michael Janich talks about is with the Wharncliffe style blade, you're going to have full force at the tip of the blade whenever you're slashing or cutting something. And you don't always have that with a rounded edge like this, because as you are slashing or coming down, the pressure is releasing as the blade goes up. It does make sense, I think. So with that being said, the tip of this knife is so thin. I mean, I am 100% sure you could break this if you stabbed something with it. I think that whole tip right there. I think all the way up to, I think right there. I think that would break off. So did they extend the blade too much? I don't know. I mean, it's total razor blade. If you drag that on anything, it would cut it up. But the blade thickens up a little bit right about here. So they might have gone overboard with the length. I would worry about it. So when I had it on the wicked edge and I was coming down with the stones, I did see just a little bit of flex actually at the very end. It kind of made me nervous, but turned out really well. I think Eric's going to be happy with it. It's sharp, no chips, and looks pretty good. So, liner lock, wah wah. Let's compare it to one more knife. Why not? Why not? A non-Spyderco. Left-handed, ProTech, boom. Review coming up soon. Left-handed, check it out, guys. All the southpaws out there, boom, left-handed, ProTech. Okay, so here you have the Yojimbo2 and the ProTech TR3, L1, something like that. So as you can tell, it's a pretty good size knife. It's not huge in your pocket, but like this is the Manix 2. It's pretty big in your pocket. So it is a little bit smaller than that. Not too much though, right? Not too much at all. So these are big knives in your pocket. And then you look at, the PM2 and the ProTech, and they are thinner in your pocket because you need room for your hand to go in there and things like that. But I think it's an interesting knife. I think the fit and finish is fantastic. I think the action, the compression lock is great. Steel, great. I actually like this grind on this knife, the hollow grind. Very, very cool. If it does cause the edge to chip, maybe they went a little too thin. I don't know. I'm really worried about this tip. I know it's going to break. I just know it. But it's cool, for sure. It is a cool knife, and I have not really seen one of these, so I wouldn't want to be against one, if someone came at me with one, that's for sure. But it does feel pretty comfortable. You can put your thumb all the way up on this spine here, which is really thick. You can do different push cuts and different things like that. So the ergonomics are pretty darn good. I'm pretty impressed with that. So to end it up, guys, this is the Spyderco Yojimbo2 that was released in 2014, designed by Michael Janich. And I hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe to my videos if you want to see more videos. I have at least 3 reviews right here to do. I just want to carry them, I want to use them, and I want to tell you the pros and cons and my opinion of them. That's all this is at the end of the day. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and have yourselves a great day.